A man, wearing a white shirt and long pants, falls from the top of a building. He tries to understand what is happening. He is about to graduate. He has been working hard for his graduation, holding on to every bit of effort. At the hospital, a nurse is talking to the grandmother of the man who fell from the building. It's been 3 months, I'm sorry to say, but I've never seen a patient survive a brain concussion like this. I think you should prepare yourself, the nurse says, with concern. The grandmother angrily snaps at the nurse. What did you say? You mean I should give up? She says, pointing at the nurse, and angrily shooing her away. After falling from the building, the man is diagnosed with a brain concussion. The scene shifts to the man's side. His grandmother holds his hand, and calls out to him, Young Sung. Young Sung is our main character in this story. Young Sung can feel his grandmother's warm touch. Even in a coma, he is certain that he will recover and wake up, having never been sick before. But in this dark world, there is nothing he can do. Young Sung's grandmother grasps his hand and cries, saying, Young Sung, those bastards told me to give up on you. I've been taking care of you, since you lost your parents. How can I give up? She cries, hoping that Young Sung will give her a sign that he is still alive. Young Sung, with all his might, orders his body to move, fighting against the brain concussion he is suffering from. After that, a man who is Young Sung's younger brother comes and sits beside him. I can't take it anymore, big brother, his brother says with tears streaming down his face. Those bastards who are oppressing you are now oppressing me. He adds, that their grandmother has started working at a restaurant to pay the hospital bills, and she gets hurt in the process. What do you want me to do? His brother says with unspeakable sadness. Big brother, it's better if you die. If you die, we won't have to suffer, his brother says. But despite all the sadness, he hopes that his brother will wake up from his coma, and not just give up. The hospital bills are fueling Young Sung's spirit to get back up. Even in his coma, Young Sung thinks that all of this is just a nightmare. If he waits a little longer, he will wake up from this nightmare. Days are turning into years, and it has been 3 years since Young Sung was hospitalized. Young Sung is still lying in bed, in a coma, wondering why his brother, Young Jin, hasn't come to visit him yet. 2 people, passing through the hospital corridor, say in a low voice that Young Sung's grandmother has fainted. It seems like they can turn up the TV volume now. Those words suddenly make Young Sung's anger explode. Inside Young Sung, a feeling of desire for revenge against Park Min-chul, Cho Yongtaek, Young Minho, Kang Chong-suk, Oh Dae-won, and Lin Young-chul is boiling over. Even all the teachers who protected those bullies. Young Sung hopes that if he could get a miracle, go back in time, he would take revenge and suspenseful. Young Sung also hopes that if he gets a chance to go back in time, he will take revenge and destroy them all. In the old room, the fire of anger continues to swell, making Young Sung simulate how he would torture a blonde-haired man who is none other than Park Min-chul. Young Sung hits and kicks Park Min-chul, beats him up while crying in anger. He thinks that all this torture is not worth the pain his grandmother suffered. Young Sung also thinks that this torture is not worth what he experienced, and he starts planning everything and simulating what kind of torture he will inflict. Young Sung keeps repeating the simulation of torturing the bullies who tormented him for 7 years, even 10 years pass, and he thinks it's all futile, hoping someone will end his life. Suddenly, a white light illuminates Young Sung, and there is a figure of a man walking towards him. The man walks and after reaching Young Sung, the figure smiles. Suddenly, Young Sung finds himself in a classroom. The classroom atmosphere is lively, the TV in the class is still the same, the blackboard looks normal, making Young Sung stand up, not believing his own eyes. Young Sung pinches his cheek to find out if this is a dream. But he winces in pain from the pinch. Young Sung sees a pen on his desk. He wants to try again. By stabbing the pen into his thigh, to check if this is a dream or not, and the result is that he feels pain after stabbing his thigh with the pen. Young Sung is silent, not believing what is happening. He goes back in time, and it's not a dream. This is the thing he has been wanting to do, to plan his revenge. Not far from Young Sung, Park Min-chul is beating up a fat guy. Park Min-chul is very angry when he hears the fat guy tell Park Min-chul to do it himself. Those words ignite Park Min-chul's anger, and he beats the fat guy until he falls to the ground. While kicking and stepping on the fat man's face, Park Min-chul says, "Do it yourself from now on, you bastard." If I wanted to do it myself, I wouldn't have told you to do it. Watching the fat man being beaten up, Yun-sung remembers all the incidents he has experienced, and it all starts here. All the students in the incidents in the class make them fearful, and no one dares to intervene. They don't want to get involved with him, and just let the fat man be kicked by Park Min-chul. Yun-sung walks, and stands behind Park Min-chul, asking him to stop. Park Min-chul stops and glances at him, saying, "What?" When he sees that it's Yun-sung, Park Min-chul turns around and says, "Did I hear that wrong? Kim Yun-sung, do you think you can handle this? If you think you're different from this guy, you're wrong." Before he can continue his sentence, Yun-sung punches Park Min-chul with all his might, something he has been dreaming of doing for so long. And today, everything will change. Yun-sung still remembers that day when Park Min-chul was the type of person who liked to bully and humiliate his friends. He also liked playing an online game called Legend Online. Park Min-chul asked the fat guy to level up his character in the game. The fat guy could only agree to Park Min-chul's request. At that time, Lee Young-min, or the fat guy, became Park Min-chul's free gamers. Lee Young-min's grades started to worsen, which were previously excellent. Not only did Park Min-chul ask him to level up his character, but he also ordered him to buy items for him. That was the first time Yun-sung saw bullying like that, and the person being bullied was someone who had always helped him with his studies. He didn't want to look for trouble, but because of Lee Young-min's kindness, Yun-sung couldn't bear to see him being bullied like that without anyone helping him. Yun-sung's friends tried to stop him, and explained that the person he was facing was Park Min-chul. But with confidence, Yun-sung said that he was pretty good at sports, so he wouldn't let Park Min-chul do whatever he wanted, and Park Min-chul didn't scare him at all. However, the result was very different from what he expected. He started being bullied and beaten up every day after school. Even he was still being beaten up every day without stopping, like a torture in hell, and became their game jockey at night, just to level up their game characters, which made him not get enough rest. The scene returns to the present. All the students are shocked to see Yun-sung suddenly beating up Park Min-chul without warning. This also surprises Park Min-chul. Park Min-chul's anger explodes like a volcano. When Park Min-chul glances at Yun-sung, Yun-sung immediately grabs Park Min-chul's head and slams it onto the desk as hard as possible. The impact makes Park Min-chul's legs tremble, and blood flows from his lips and mouth. Without wasting any time, Yun-sung unleashes a flurry of focused punches to Park Min-chul's face and keeps beating him up wildly. Yun-sung unleashes the simulation he had done while he was in the hospital. Park Min-chul is the type of person who fights by relying on his physical strength, and is not used to getting punched, so when he receives punches, he becomes unstable and easy to beat up. Yun-sung releases all his pent-up hatred and anger at this moment. Yun-sung throws Park Min-chul into a locker in the classroom and steps on his face. Park Min-chul, who has received many punches, can only defend himself by covering his face with his hands. Yun-sung doesn't care if Park Min-chul is beaten to death. While stepping on Park Min-chul's face, Yun-sung mutters that if Park Min-chul looks at him, he will kick his face, and if he blocks the kick, he will break his arm. Suddenly chair flies towards Yun-sung, who is stepping on Park Min-chul's face. He glances in the direction of the chair. It turns out that it's Park Min-chul's gang coming to help him. One of the men from the gang yells at Yun-sung to stop. But Yun-sung responds coldly, "What if I don't want to?" This statement suddenly shocks Young Minho. He stares at Yun-sung and realizes that Yun-sung looks calm and unafraid of them. Kong Chong-suk, a muscular man, walks towards Yun-sung with anger, saying, "Are you crazy? Okay, I'll end your game now." It's known that their gang is called Park Min-chul's gang, because Park Min-chul leads them when they want to bully someone. But actually, Kong Chong-suk is the strongest member of the gang. Yun-sung and Kong Chong-suk stand facing each other, their eyes locked in a tense stare. Just as they're about to start fighting, a student says, "Hey, the teacher is coming." This makes Young Minho decide to finish off Yun-sung later. Young Minho calls out to Kong Chong-suk to leave. Kong Chong-suk looks at Yun-sung with a gaze that seems to want to kill him. He says that Yun-sung is finished, and he'll look for him after class ends, so he shouldn't try to run away. Park Min-chul's gang leaves the classroom. Park Min-chul, who is sitting in his chair with his head on the desk, thinks about what's happening. He remembers being beaten up but what's more important is that he was beaten up by someone he considers a loser. The more Park Min-chul thinks about the incident, the angrier he becomes. He mutters that he'll kill him, and his gang will join him after class ends. If he had been more alert, he wouldn't have been beaten up like that. This is the first time he's been humiliated, especially by a loser. In class 1 to 8, Park Min-chul's gang is discussing Yun Sung beating up Park Min-chul. Kang Chong-suk says it would be better if class ends quickly. Young Minho says that Yun Sung acted strangely in his class 1 to 1, and wonders if he's under the influence of something. Young Minho adds that if this problem is left unchecked, others will start to rebel against them. Yun Sung has disrespected them, and it can't be ignored. Kang Chong-suk, with anger that can't be contained, plans to kill him. In class 1 to 1, Park Min-chul stands up and looks at Yun Sung. Park Min-chul shouts, "Kim Yun Sung, you're finished." As soon as he finishes his sentence, a kick launched by Yun Sung quickly hits Park Min-chul's face, making him almost lose consciousness and fall. But before he falls, Yun Sung holds his head. Yun Sung stares at Park Min-chul and says coldly, "We should have started this from the moment we met." Park Min-chul can only stare at Yun Sung and wonder what's going on with him. Yun Sung curses Park Min-chul and prepares to beat him up again. Park Min-chul asks himself if Yun Sung really wants to fight. The scene shifts to Young Minho's class. Young Minho stands up, seemingly unable to wait any longer, and his two friends stand up following him. Young Minho says, "It's enough, there's no more way to escape." The three of them go to Yun Sung's class, led by Young Minho, who walks in front. In Yun Sung's class, some students are watching something in the classroom, with expressions of fear, as if they're witnessing a murder scene firsthand. This shocks Young Minho, and they rush towards the classroom. When they arrive, what Young Minho thought would happen is happening. They see Yun Sung beating up Park Min-chul until he's unconscious, with blood flowing from his face. Yun Sung glances at the group in front of the door and says coldly, "You're late." This statement suddenly makes Kang Chong-suk's pent-up anger explode, and he rushes towards Yun Sung, wanting to beat him up. Seeing this, Yun Sung mutters, "I've been simulating this for about 10 years. I can defeat Park Min-chul, but not this big guy. So what should I do? It's simple. Do something I never thought of before." Yun Sung grabs a padlock, and when Kang Chong-suk approaches him and throws a punch, Yun Sung dodges it and quickly hits Kang Chong-suk on the side of his head with the iron padlock, making him dizzy. Yun Sung grabs Kang Chong-suk's hair and starts unleashing a flurry of attacks on his head. No matter how much Kang Chong-suk has trained his body, if he's hit with iron, he'll feel pain. After unleashing his attacks, Yun Sung throws Kang Chong-suk to the floor. The scene makes Cho Yong-taek and Young Minho terrified, never thinking that the strongest person in their gang could be defeated. Seeing their shock, Yun Sung charges at Cho Yong-taek and, with a judo-like move, Cho Yong-taek falls. Yun Sung unleashes a barrage of punches on Cho Yong-taek's face, not caring that Young Minho would attack him from behind. For him, it's better to defeat Cho Yong-taek first. Cho Yong-taek, brutally beaten by Yun Sung, eventually loses consciousness, with a lot of blood flowing from his face. Yun Sung wipes his chin, as if he's just done hard work. He mutters that he's made thorough preparations, but his body doesn't seem ready for this. However, he knows he can't stop or do it halfway because there's still one bastard left. Yun Sung, still sitting on Cho Yong-taek's body, stares at Young Minho with a cold gaze. Young Minho, looking at Yun Sung's cold stare, unknowingly sweats cold. He never thought that Yun Sung would be this strong, able to defeat Park Min-chul, Kang Chong-suk, and Cho Yong-taek single-handedly. Yun Sung stands up, and keeps staring at Young Minho, his gaze making him look like a monster in Young Minho's eyes. Young Minho's fear increases, as Yun Sung walks towards him, realizing he can't defeat Yun Sung. If Kang Chong-suk can be defeated by Yun Sung, it's clear that he'll just be a punching bag for Yun Sung. When Yun Sung is in front of Young Minho, he says coldly, "We should finish what we started, right?" This statement makes Young Minho's hair stand on end, and his hands tremble with fear. Just as Yun Sung is about to land a punch on Young Minho's face, a teacher stops them. The teacher says while walking towards them, "Hey, what are you guys doing there?" This gives Young Minho a glimmer of hope. With the teacher's presence, he won't be beaten up by Yun Sung. And of course, after all this commotion, a teacher will surely notice it. The scene shifts to the teacher's room, where Kim Young-chul, the teacher who stopped the fight, is scolding Yun-sung. Teacher Kim Young-chul scolds while pointing at Yun-sung's face, saying, "Even if you're a guy, you have moral values. Do you know they were sent to the hospital with their faces covered in blood?" Teacher Kim thinks this is not an ordinary matter and will surely blame everything on Yun-sung. "This is not an ordinary matter. You'd better be prepared because their parents will come, and they won't forgive you. You'd better." Before finishing his sentence, Yun-sung cuts him off coldly, saying, "Teacher, don't be excessive. This isn't the first time violence has occurred in this school." Yun-sung starts to provoke Teacher Kim, by saying that everything he does about the school being bully-free is just empty talk. In reality, bullying happens often, and Teacher Kim just turns a blind eye. Teacher Kim, hearing this, gets emotional and slaps Yun-sung. The incident is witnessed by all the teachers, but they just watch and do nothing. Yun-sung mutters, "Just as I thought. This is why I died. My death wasn't because of being bullied, but being oppressed and humiliated. Cowardly adults who are busy. You're all corrupt. Trash like you doesn't deserve to be called human." Yun-sung stares at Teacher Kim, with a cold gaze and says, "You'd better stop." Hearing this, Teacher Kim gets even more emotional and is about to slap him again. But Yun-sung walks towards him and whispers, "If you can't, I'll report you for bribery, especially from Young Minho's parents. I'll have to shout it out loud here. And if that's not enough, there's one more thing. Like your relationship with the English teacher." Hearing the threat, Teacher Kim becomes extremely frightened. He didn't expect Yun-sung to know about his secret relationship with the English teacher. His hand, which was about to slap Yun-sung, stops. Yun-sung adds, "So you'd better stop, you scum." Yun-sung remembers when he was bullied by Park Min-chul's gang. He went to the teacher's room hoping for help from adults, but what he got was not what he expected. Teacher Kim just scolded him and did nothing about the bullying. The case Yun-sung reported was closed without any action taken. They worked together, and the result was not what he had hoped for. After leaving the teacher's room, Park Min-chul's gang took him out of school and beat him up mercilessly. At that time, Yun-sung was very disappointed, angry, and frustrated, all mixed together. He reported the bullying to the teacher, but the teacher did nothing. Even when Teacher Kim saw Yun-sung being beaten up, he pretended nothing was happening. And finally, he found out why Teacher Kim did nothing about Park Min-chul's gang, because he was bribed by Young Minho's parents. He tried to fight back even if he had to do it alone. And when the fight between him and Park Min-chul's gang was over, all the blame was put on him. He was accused of starting the fight, and his grandmother had to bow and apologize. He received punishment from the school alone, while Park Min-chul's gang didn't get any punishment. The scene returns to the present. Teacher Kim panics and looks around, making sure no teachers are nearby who might have heard Yun-sung's whisper. Yun-sung says coldly, "Teacher Kim, from now on, when you talk to me, think twice before you say anything. You were introduced to Young Minho's parents, and we've been taking care of Young Minho even before he entered this school. And as a reward, you're paid every month. You've even had an affair with the English teacher, someone who's married with 3 kids. You both always go to Hotel M. Do I need to say more? This teacher's behavior is indeed beyond reason. He's bribed, has an affair with someone's wife, and there are more secrets Yun-sung knows." Teacher Kim immediately collapses into his chair, the threat Yun-sung poses being extremely deadly. He imagines all the consequences he'll face if Yun-sung exposes his corruption publicly. His greatest fear is that his wife will come to school, argue with him, and it might even lead to divorce. Teacher Kim is known for being relatively wealthy, but rumors say all his assets and properties are in his wife's name. If a divorce happens, he'll lose everything. His family, assets, career at school, and more. With the threat and consequences, Teacher Kim submits to Yun-sung. Teacher Kim asks what he needs to do. Yun-sung responds coldly, "Easy. If you want to keep my mouth shut, just live your life as usual." Teacher Kim is confused and asks what he means. Yun-sung says, "Just keep living like trash in the future. Do what you usually do, even though you know it's wrong. But the object is now different. If you follow my instructions, until my graduation day, I won't reveal your secrets. You understand what I mean, right?" Teacher Kim, with no other choice, can only agree to Yun-sung's terms. Yun-sung leaves the teacher's room without getting any punishment. Yun-sung mutters that he's gotten the first card, Teacher Kim. He needs to think about getting the next card. But before that, there's something he needs to do. The scene shifts to Young Minho's class, where he's furious after what just happened. He's venting his emotions in the classroom, slamming chairs, and vowing to kill Yun Sung. But his emotions subside when he remembers that his parents have been bribing Kim Young-chul, the teacher. Because of the bribe, teacher Kim won't stay silent. At least Yun Sung will be expelled from school. Young Minho throws a chair and mutters, "Honestly, I was scared earlier. Just because of Kim Yun Sung. I won't let my status in this school be ruined. I am a predator, not prey." Young Minho sits down in his chair and thinks that the previous incident was just a coincidence. Yun Sung won against 3 people at once. If he meets Yun Sung, he'll definitely beat him up. But after he thinks so, suddenly Yun Sung opens the door to his class while calling his name coldly. This makes Young Minho extremely frightened. Yun Sung walks towards Young Minho while saying, "We should finish what we started, right?" This statement makes Young Minho's hair stand on end with fear. He says nervously, "We should," but before he can finish his sentence, Yun Sung punches him with all his might, making Young Minho crash and fall from his seat. Young Minho tries to stand up, but Yun Sung quickly runs and kicks him precisely on the chin. Yun Sung grabs his collar and beats Young Minho's face mercilessly. Young Minho has no choice but to beg for someone to help him. When Young Minho looks towards the window, he sees teacher Kim witnessing him being brutally beaten up by Yun Sung, but he does nothing. Young Minho mutters, "Kim Young-chul, damn you, you accepted money from my mom." But teacher Kim can't do anything and just looks away, pretending nothing is happening. Yun Sung mutters, "Don't expect anyone to help you here. Because no one can do it." 5 minutes ago, teacher Kim was sitting, trembling with fear, thinking about the consequences of what he would do. This incident is beyond his control. There are 3 students who were taken to the hospital. If he doesn't punish Yun Sung properly, the parents of the 3 students will find out what happened, especially Young Minho's parents. They're known for owning several properties and being influential figures, and they won't accept their son being humiliated. Even the school's renovation was funded by them, and teacher Kim received money from them. Once they start moving, teacher Kim's career will be over. However, on the other hand, Yun Sung knows all his dark secrets. He starts thinking hard about how to solve this problem. He considers separating them and trying to convince Yun Sung not to hit Young Minho. But when he arrives at Young Minho's class, teacher Kim is frightened. What he didn't want to happen is happening. He walks away, choosing to do nothing, because it would be more serious if his relationship with the English teacher is discovered. Young Minho's face is covered in blood from being beaten up by Yun Sung. Yun Sung holds Young Minho's head and mutters, "You always belittled me. Look at yourself, you're trembling even before I start." Yun Sung releases Young Minho, who can't even move. Everyone in the class is silent and does nothing. Yun Sung sits in a chair, staring at Young Minho, and calls him stupid. Yun Sung starts to remember everything he's been through during his time as a patient in the hospital with a concussion. He always dreamed of revenge, and this is the result. In the teacher's room, the teachers are having a meeting and discussing the issue between Yun Sung and Park Min-chul's gang. Yun Sung's thoughts aren't focused on the meeting, but rather on his plan. The principal, Oh Dae-won, looks at Yun Sung and says, "Have you seen the victims' faces? They're very serious, like something you'd see in a gangster movie." The English teacher, Lee Min-young, agrees with the principal's words, suggesting that Yun Sung should be punished and possibly expelled. Teacher Kim whispers to teacher Lee to stay quiet and protect Yun Sung, or else their relationship will be exposed. When the principal is about to say something, teacher Kim quickly explains what happened, saying that Park Min-chul's gang has been bullying other students, and he was trying to catch them in the act, but Kim Yun Sung couldn't hold back anymore, so he did what he could. He used to be a victim before becoming a perpetrator. A heated debate ensues between teacher Kim and the principal. The principal is worried about Young Minho's parents suing them, while teacher Kim is worried about his secrets being exposed. The principal decides to hold another meeting to decide the outcome next week and to keep the issue from spreading. Yun Sung will be suspended for a week, and he's not allowed to come to school during that time. Yun Sung says, "Understood," and then leaves the teacher's room. Teacher Kim chases after him and says, "Yun Sung, I tried my best after you beat up Young Minho." Hearing this, Yun Sung smiles and mutters, "Teacher Kim, you're really interesting. Last time, you belittled me and even slapped me. But now, you're trash." Young Sung stops and looks at Teacher Kim. I understand you tried your best. Teacher Kim asks what's really going on, but Young Sung cuts him off. You know that Park Min Chul has always bullied other students. From now until I graduate, you'll do whatever I want. No matter what it is, if you want me not to reveal your secrets. Teacher Kim bows his head and agrees to Young Sung's terms, and Young Sung walks away. Young Sung mutters that if it weren't for his benefit, he would have destroyed Teacher Kim, but that's not the main issue. He can't waste his valuable card just because of his anger. Young Sung walks into his classroom, grabs his bag, and walks out of school while thinking about how to handle Oh Dae-won, the principal. The scene shifts to a residential area. Young Sung walks while thinking. Finally, he can walk in this alley again. It's been years since he's been here. At a messy villa with the number 00, Young Sung's house is worth 50 million won. If it weren't for the life insurance after his parents' death, Young Sung would have had to rely on his own salary. Young Sung walks while looking around, feeling nostalgic about his memories with his grandmother, who was forced to move due to hospital bills, making him feel like the world had shattered. He remembers his childhood and feels grateful to be back. Young Sung opens the door to his house while calling out for his grandmother, but there's no response. Young Sung enters the living room and realizes that at this hour, his grandmother is usually out working to support their family. This isn't the time for sentimentality. This is a miracle that he got this chance. Young Sung sits in a chair while thinking about his next plan. He has to make the most of 1 week before returning to school for a meeting. His next plan needs to be more accurate. In 2 years, he needs to be able to execute it and stabilize his foundation, and destroy the foundations of others. In this plan, there are several conditions that need to be met. The first condition is his strength. Young Sung needs to be strong enough to fight against bullies at school and defeat them without difficulty. The second condition is that Young Sung needs to gather people who share the same goal as him. And in the end, people will play their roles beautifully. Young Sung realizes that he's still a high school student, and even if he has a plan, he doesn't have the power to execute it. Young Sung needs to take the first step to find the people he needs. He has an advantage in having experience because he's lived again and knows what to do, but he needs someone with a background that can help his plan, so no one can stop him from executing it. Having a background will be his top priority. The scene shifts to a police station, where a man is shouting loudly, "Hey, you morons, don't you know who I am?" The man adds, "Do you know what family I'm from? You're just a spy. If you don't know who I am, then you're just a civilian. Just because you're a police officer, you think you'll be safe after treating me like this." The commotion escalates until a police officer comes and says, "Old man, please calm down." The man becomes even more emotional and shouts, "Old man, you call me old man? You're disrespecting me. I'm a single man, 35 years old. Damn it." The man is Go Changbom, the eldest son of the Myeongjin construction family. With rage, he kicks a chair in front of him. A police officer handling Go Changbom's case mutters, "Of course, I know who you are. Go Changbom, the eldest son of the Myeongjin construction family. He's very dangerous. We'll be in trouble if we make the wrong decision. Since everything is already here, they have to follow the rules." Go Changbom sits down and says, "Damn it, this is better than being interrogated with detailed questions." Go Changbom thinks about how to handle this problem. Damn it, they're so weak, so they're detained. What should I do? If this problem continues, my opponent will use it as a stepping stone. What kind of situation is this? And just now, my father announced that there will be a competition between me and my brother to see who is worthy of taking over the company. In other words, to take his place. I'm just a high school graduate, and my brother is a graduate of a prestigious university, and he married a famous woman 3 years ago, so he's been able to monopolize strong positions. I'll be ruined if he finds out that I'm involved in a violence case. The police officer breaks the silence. "Mr. Go Changbom, I know you're very upset now, but this is your mistake. You hit someone who was innocent, and we can't let this matter slide." Go Changbom feels annoyed and stands up, slamming the table. "I told you, those bastards hit me first." The police officer responds, "Yes, that's what you said, but there's no evidence, not even any CCTV footage. You can't be in 2 places at once." Go Changbom looks to the side, trying to hold back his anger, and mutters, "Damn it, should I fight back or do something?" Not far from Go Changbom, a young man is talking and catches Go Changbom's attention. Go Changbom is surprised to see a young boy in the police station. The boy is Yun Sung. Yun Sung points to Go Changbom while saying, "I came to prove that person is innocent." He then provides evidence. The police ask while looking at the video, "Where did you find this video?" Yun Sung shows a video recording that shows several people beating up Go Changbom. Yun Sung calmly explains, "This just happened when I passed by the scene, so I thought it was very dangerous because there were no security cameras. I asked for the black box video from a car parked there and came here." Yun Sung adds some details to make his story more convincing, and even Go Changbom is impressed with Yun Sung's explanation. After explaining, Go Changbom puts his arm around Yun Sung's shoulders with a big smile. "Yes, you're very handsome, and how can you say such beautiful things?" Go Changbom thinks to himself, "Father only thinks about who will lose and accept it. As long as there's evidence, there's no reason for me to be in a precarious position." The police officer says, "After seeing the video evidence, I understand. Let's end the interrogation here. And after this, I'll have another meeting." The police officer apologizes to Go Changbom and says that he should have listened to Go Changbom's explanation and not made a decision in anger. Go Changbom looks at the police officer with anger in his eyes, as if he wants to kill him, and says, "I don't know your situation, but I'll remember your face. From now on, you'll live a peaceful life." The scene shifts to outside the police station, where Yun Sung and Go Changbom are walking with Go Changbom's arm around Yun Sung's shoulders. Go Changbom says, "Thank you, kid. If it weren't for your help, I would have really had bad luck." Go Changbom puts his hand in his pocket and says, "I'm Go Changbom, a man who never forgets kindness." Go Changbom takes out a wad of cash from his pocket and hands it to Yun Sung, saying, "Take it, this is from the heart." Yun Sung accepts it happily, but his reaction makes Go Changbom feel strange. Usually, someone young like Yun Sung would be nervous about taking a large sum of money, but he isn't. He also came with a black box recording. This guy is unpredictable. Yun Sung tries to get closer to Go Changbom by saying something that makes Go Changbom feel cautious. Go Changbom clenches his fist and stares at Yun Sung, asking, "Who are you?" Yun Sung raises both hands and says, "I think this incident wasn't a coincidence. And I have proof for it. What do you think, Mr. Go Changbom?" During Yun Sung's time in the hospital, he heard a news report on TV discussing Go Changbom, a famous person in Daesan City. Yun Sung says, "If you're really a man who knows gratitude, give me an hour. I promise this won't hurt you, Mr. Go Changbom." The scene shifts to a restaurant. Yun Sung shows his phone and plays a video, saying, "This is the original video from the black box. I think I can use half of it to prove that it was just self-defense. So, I didn't show the beginning of the video." Yun Sung adds, "The first part you see proves that it wasn't a coincidence. 30 minutes before the incident, 3 men were waiting in front of the store. At first glance, they looked like customers using the store's facilities, but even after a while, they didn't move an inch. Like they were waiting for someone. And when you arrived, they immediately attacked you and started a fight." Yun Sung continues his in-depth analysis, making it easy to understand and clarifying all the evidence he has, that the incident wasn't a coincidence. Go Changbom feels that what Yun Sung explained makes sense, and he thinks about how he once suspected his brother, but he didn't want to believe that his brother, who lived a good life, would do something like this. Go Changbom looks at Yun Sung and asks, "So, why are you telling me this?" Yun Sung thinks while sipping his coffee, considering the Myeongjin Construction Company, a family business of Go Changbom's that's famous in the outskirts of the city, but their foundation in finance and other areas is very strong and likely to develop. In remembering the problems he faced in his past life, even the internal family issues that led to both brothers being kicked out of the family because Go Changbom's temper flared up and he hit his brother, resulting in his brother being hospitalized and their father kicking them out. Their father then hired a very good manager to run the company. Thanks to this, Yun Sung can use the information from his past life to find the source of the problem. And the Myeongjin Construction Company has a bright future ahead. The older brother, Go Changbom, isn't a bad person who would eliminate his competitors, but he's not the type who can compete and has a short temper. On the other hand, the younger brother, Go Changseok, is suspicious and would do anything to achieve his dreams. This is the only truth about Myeongjin Construction's decision to cut ties with both sons. But that's not the most important thing for Yun Sung. For Yun Sung, the most important thing is the usefulness of both brothers, regardless of right or wrong, and the effect it will have on the future if it changes. Things like that aren't a problem for Young Sung. It's all not important, even if the future changes. Now, revenge is his priority, and he will protect his family. After thinking about all this, Young Sung says, "I'll help you, so you can take revenge on Go Changseok, and as the eldest son, you can become the chairman of your family's company." Go Changbom chuckles and says, "It's funny, you're just a high school student." Young Sung says, "Of course, there are some people who will help you in this competition, but don't you feel something's off? The people who help you only say sweet things to your ears, while this high school student you're looking down on can say things like this. It's clear that the people who help you are Go Changseok's spies." Young Sung adds, "I won't ask you to trust me, but as a return, give me a chance. A chance to build our relationship." Outside the cafe, Go Changbom is talking while lighting a cigarette, trying to digest all the information and the offer Young Sung gave him. Go Changbom feels like his head is about to explode from the information he just received. A cafe employee suddenly comes out and asks Go Changbom to stop smoking because it's a smoke-free area. But Go Changbom, who has had a tough day and is already emotional from the information he just received, looks at the employee and says with anger, "Don't bother me, get back inside, damn it. If you don't, I'll destroy this cafe." The employee is frightened and walks back inside without arguing. Inside the cafe, Young Sung is looking at Go Changbom, who is smoking outside. Young Sung thinks to himself, Go Changbom, someone who has always lived his life as the eldest son of the Myeongjin construction family. He's known as a bomb that shouldn't be touched in Desun. But I didn't meet him because he's a good or holy person, but because he's the type of person who would destroy his brother for power. That's why he's a suitable person for my plan. Outside, Go Changbom is thinking hard about what to do regarding Young Sung's offer. Go Changbom thinks, what the kid said isn't wrong. Compared to my brother, I'm nothing. If things stay like this, the position of family head will slip far from me. But can I really trust a 17-year-old kid I just met? Go Changbom remembers what his father once said, "Changbom, if you don't have the ability, find someone who does beside you. Don't care about age, gender, or situation. If you can, I'm sure you can lead Myeongjin construction." Remembering his father's words makes Go Changbom feel annoyed, and he throws away his cigarette and enters the cafe, asking Young Sung about his plan. Inside the cafe, Go Changbom asks, "Hey, tell me your plan first. I'll listen to everything, and after that, I'll decide." The scene shifts to a room where a bespectacled man is talking on the phone. The man is shocked by the news and angrily slams the phone to the floor. The man is none other than Go Changseok. Go Changseok says with anger, "Damn fool, what was so hard that you failed? This is all because of outdated thinking. Why does he still think the older one will inherit the legacy when we're already in a new era?" Go Changseok calms himself down and thinks that everything is still on the right track, and if this is the case, he can still seize the family's leadership position. After that, his phone rings, and Go Changseok is shocked by the news he's receiving. The scene shifts to Young Sung, who is explaining his plan to Go Changbom. Young Sung says, "In order to win the competition for power, you need something. Between you and Go Changseok, who's fit to lead Myeongjin construction?" "Of course, it's Go Changseok, not you, a high school graduate." Go Changseok is a graduate of business administration from a famous university abroad. And he married into a famous family after returning to Korea. With all that, he's very suitable to be a leader. Everything isn't just a coincidence from the start. Go Changseok has prepared everything to take the leadership position from his brother. And as a result, he created a strong position for himself. And with the fact that you're the older brother, there's nothing that makes you able to win against him. Mostly because you've always been involved in cases like this. Who in the world would want to help you? Even after all the differences, I still think there's enough possibility for you to win. Go Changbom is getting annoyed, but what Young Sung says is true. With a serious gaze, he asks, "What do you mean by that?" Young Sung replies, "Even when Go Changseok is clearly ahead in the competition for leadership, there's one reason why Chairman Myeongjin makes you a competent candidate. It's because of the naive thinking that the eldest son is suitable to inherit the legacy. That's why you can still compete despite the huge differences between you two. Chairman Myeongjin hasn't decided yet. If that's the case, what if I say that Go Changseok, who's strong in every field, falls behind to where you are now? What do you think?" If you had the same abilities that would make Chairman Myongjin choose between you two. When you're on the same level as your opponent, that's when the competition really starts. And that's when your strength as the older brother is shown, which you can't be swayed by. After explaining that, Yun Sung directly explains the conditions that Go Changbom needs to meet. Where he needs to have a background, but unfortunately, he no longer has it, while his brother married into a famous family for support. Meanwhile, Go Changbom focuses on partying at clubs and making friends there. The second condition is reputation, but Go Changbom's reputation is in a bad light. And the third condition is ability. While Go Changbom is busy with women and drinking, his brother Go Changseok acquires all that through administrative work. Hearing this makes Go Changbom feel annoyed. Yun Sung points at Go Changbom and says, "Let's go back to the first one, background. How are we going to get it? You can't marry into a famous family like your brother did. No girl like that will appear out of nowhere. So, we need to think outside the box. You need to make them get a divorce. If the background factor is gone, he'll start from scratch, just like we are now." The scene shifts to a room where Go Changbom and Go Changseok are standing in front of an old man. The man is the head of the Myongjin construction family, Go Myongjin. Go Changseok bows his head and apologizes. "Forgive me." However, Go Myongjin says harshly, "Useless. I've already spoken with your father-in-law, and I told him I'll scold you, so there's no reason for a divorce. Basically, I'll give you another chance." He says that Go Changseok's wife will live far away from him, and they'll see how he begs for forgiveness and decide whether to forgive him or not. Go Changseok says, "Forgive me." Go Myongjin snaps, "Forgive my ass. I warned you to keep it in your pants, or your marriage would be ruined if you play with other women. You should have stayed single like Changbom. How can I have children like you too?" Go Myongjin glares at Go Changbom and says, "And you, Go Changbom? Why were you at the police station?" Go Changbom remembers what Yun Sung explained at the cafe. Initially, Go Changbom thought of investigating all of Go Changseok's bad behavior and reporting it to their father, but Yun Sung disagreed. Yun Sung disagreed because in his past life, he had heard about the Go Changbom family's case being so big that it even made it to the TV news. And also, the reason Go Changbom proposed wouldn't make a significant impact. So, Go Changbom needs to show a different side of himself. After remembering this, Go Changbom looks down at the floor and says, "Sorry. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again." Go Changbom bows his head, which surprises Go Changseok. While bowing, Go Changbom says, "Regardless of the reason, I've made a mistake that caused problems. And as the eldest son of Myongjin Construction, I'll take responsibility. And I'll remember my duties as a son and do better. And, father, I'll scold Changseok for you." Go Myongjin says, "I've heard what happened." This makes Go Changbom nervous, and he looks up at his father. Go Myongjin adds, "They provoked you first, and you still tried not to avoid the fight." With a pat on Go Changbom's shoulder, Go Myongjin says, "Good job. The fact that you can handle a situation like that with humility makes me very proud." Outside the room, Go Changseok is furious and mutters, "This is bullshit. I don't know who leaked my location, but if I catch them, I'll destroy them." Go Changbom, still surprised that his father praised him, keeps repeating his father's words. "Good job, I'm very proud." His father, who is always tough, acknowledges him, pats him on the shoulder, and praises him. Go Changbom clenches his fist with enthusiasm, determined to move forward. The scene shifts to a nighttime cityscape, where Go Changbom is driving with Yun Sung. Go Changbom says, "Because of you, I managed to gain my father's trust. So tell me, what do I need to do? To become the next chairman, I'll listen to everything you say and do it." Yun Sung smiles victoriously, "Don't get too excited. Go Changseok is now at the starting line, and we're just in the background. To become the next chairman, you need to win in both upcoming conditions. But I have some advice for you because it will be very difficult. From now on, you need to work and learn management. When the time is right, I'll tell you what to do." Go Changbom looks at Yun Sung with an annoyed gaze, "You're telling me to work at the company as a regular employee?" However, he smiles cynically and says, "No problem, I'll do it. I'll do as you say. Is there anything else I need to do?" Yun Sung says, "Yes, you want our conversation at the cafe that night. We teamed up because we expected some things, right? As a return for my help, you promised to make one of my dreams come true, didn't you?" Go Changbom replies, "Of course, what can I do for you, little Yun Sung?" Yun Sung smiles and says, "That's great." Yun Sung then starts telling him his desire. The days pass until the day of the teachers' meeting about Yun Sung and Park Min Chol's gang. In a school room, Park Min Ho's mother slaps teacher Kim with full anger. "You think I gave you money to listen to your nonsense? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you want to get fired from this school? If you still want to work here, make sure you expel the kid who beat up my son. Do you understand?" Teacher Kim says with a red cheek from the slap, "Yes." After that, Park Min Ho's mother leaves Teacher Kim. Teacher Kim feels stressed about what to do. In another room, Teacher Kim is panicked and asks how to handle this situation. Teacher Kim suggests Yun Sung apologize to reduce the punishment and not be stubborn. But Yun Sung says calmly, "Mr. Kim, I know you've been terrorized by Young Min Ho's mother, but please choose wisely whether you want to be proven to have accepted bribes or have your wife find out." The scene shifts to the meeting room. The principal, Oh Dae-won, says, "Let's start by listening. What really happened?" The homeroom teacher of the student who was beaten, "Mr. Kim, please explain." Teacher Kim stands up and says loudly, "The case is clear. All cases occurred because Young Min Ho and other friends bullied another student. The victim is the bully. This is a crime that destroys justice." Before the meeting starts, Teacher Kim looks at Yun Sung's guardian and is shocked. Yun Sung's guardian looks familiar to him. Teacher Kim looks at his phone, trying to remember who the man with Yun Sung is. He remembers seeing him in the red light district. And it turns out to be Go Changbom, the eldest son of Myungjin Construction. Teacher Kim thinks and mutters, "When I saw the attendance list, I thought it was just a coincidence or a different person with the same name. Go Changbom is a big figure. The Young Min Ho family is nothing compared to him. How could someone like him become Yun Sung's guardian or supporter? He doesn't have much time to think. What's important now is finding a safe way. He's someone who knows Go Changbom's identity. This is the only chance to change his position." The principal, Oh Dae-won, is surprised and says, "What? Mr. Kim Young-chul, tell us what happened to avoid misunderstandings." Teacher Kim nervously starts explaining everything about the bullying done by Young Min Ho and Park Min Chol's gang against another student and the incident that occurred. Yun Sung is impressed by what Teacher Kim is doing. Teacher Kim turns around and asks everyone present, "Think about it, would you be able to handle it if someone tried to hurt you?" Student Kim Yun Sung was just trying to protect himself. Young Min Ho glares at Teacher Kim, not expecting him to defend Yun Sung in front of his parents. Teacher Kim adds, "Even after knowing what happened, and we punish student Yun Sung, we'll become losers who ignore the root cause of bullying in this school." That's all. Principal Oh Dae-won is shocked and asks, "What did you say?" He adds with annoyance, "Don't go off topic here, Mr. Kim Young-chul. We were discussing the fight, and for the first time in the school's history, 4 students were sent to the hospital. The information about the victim who started the bullying doesn't match the information, and it's not related to the current topic. Whatever it is, violence can't be accepted. He's never heard of a student doing something this severe. They're all graduates of a good school, and it pains him to choose who's wrong. But punishment is also necessary." While glaring at Young Min Ho's mother, who glares back as if wanting to execute their plan, Principal Oh Dae-won says to stop the incident. "We need to find out what really happened and punish the perpetrator. So first, we need to hear from student Young Min Ho about what happened to make the case clearer." Student Young Min Ho is asked to speak, and Young Min Ho says with a trembling body, "What happened to me is different from what the teacher said. When I passed by, all I saw was Kim Yun Sung beating up Min Chol, who was already on the ground. I asked other students, and they said Kim Yun Sung started hitting without reason. You can bring other witnesses, but the fact is Kim Yun Sung started the fight." Young Min Ho starts crying and explains how he and his friends were severely beaten. Watching this, Yun Sung glares at Young Min Ho with a look full of anger, as if wanting to devour him. Young Min Ho adds that he's confused why the teacher is blaming him for everything and starts adding embellishments to make his story better. The trembling body and tears shown by Young Min Ho are part of the embellishments he added. Young Min Ho's mother stands up and says, "Look at my child's face. You raised him with love and never hurt him. But look what happened to his face. Violence happened in this school. How can I accept and understand this? This happened to my child, but we don't know what will happen to other children. We parents can't just ignore it and must punish the bully. The words of Young Min Ho's mother suddenly make the attendees start discussing and agreeing with what she said. They also want to punish Yun Sung. The scene shifts to the hospital, where Park Min Chul is playing his favorite online game. Park Min Chul says, "I'm curious if it's started yet." Cho Yong Tek says, "I'm sure Yun Sung is having a tough time now. You know what his mom is like. She's the type of mom who would even turn the school upside down for Min Ho. Do you think someone like that would let things slide after seeing her son's face like that?" Park Min Chul agrees and says, "If he's not expelled, he'll be tormented until he cries and begs to be expelled. And if he is expelled, I'll keep chasing him and get compensation." Cho Yong Tek asks, "Can we ask for compensation?" Kong Chong Suk replies, "Of course. We should get $1,000,000. The three of them start fantasizing about what they would do if they got $1,000,000. They imagine buying motorcycles, getting drunk with girls. The scene returns to Yun Sung. Go Chong Boem, who can't take the debate and drama in front of him anymore, slams the table and says, "Damn it. Let's talk about what really happened. Are you going to ignore it or are you really clueless?" Go Chong Boem points at Young Min Ho and says, "Don't you think this human-faced demon has planned everything?" Principal Oh Dae-won angrily says, "What are you saying? Don't call our student a demon." Go Chong Boem glares at Oh Dae-won and says with emotion, "Then what should I call him? A demon who's not a demon. I've personally seen Park Min Chul's gang bullying and extorting other students. They're so notorious that everyone around here knows them. But why are you trying to cover it up? Are you stupid or are you taking advantage of those bastards?" Go Chong Boem puts his arm around Yun Sung's shoulders and says, "I know several ambulances came to the school because of Park Min Chul's gang, but it's all because Yun Sung was protecting himself. His teacher also said we should look at the root of the problem. Let's be honest here, when you were young, would you just stand there while bastards like that bullied you?" Young Min Ho's mother gets enraged when she hears Yun Sung's guardian call her son a bastard. She glares at the guardian and shouts, "Hey, bastard. Who are you calling a bastard? My son is not a bastard." She points at Go Chong Boem and asks, "Who are you? I've heard that Kim Yun Sung doesn't have parents. Who are you to speak like that?" The scene shifts to the night when Yun Sung asks Go Chong Boem for help. Go Chong Boem asks, "So, you're asking me to be your guardian? Just ask me for money if that's what you want." Yun Sung says, "Yes, that's true. I need money for my plan. But if I just needed money, I could have taken an easier route. Honestly, I'm planning to make a big move at school, not just something small, but a legitimate one, and when that happens, I hope you can help me resolve the issue. With you as my backup, I'm sure no one indecent can touch me." Yun Sung looks at Go Chong Boem and says, "Old man, Go Chong Boem, if you can do it well and show me something satisfying, I'll make sure you become the next head of the family or maybe something even bigger than that." Go Chong Boem says with enthusiasm, "You don't need to worry about that. I'm great at things like that. Trust me, whatever you do, hitting someone or whatever, it won't be a problem." The scene returns to the teacher's room. Go Chong Boem slams a paper on the table and stands up, glaring at Young Min Ho's mother. "I'm Yun Sung's guardian and the eldest son of the Myung Jin construction family." After introducing himself, the teachers in the room are intimidated. Go Chong Boem says, "You don't know what you're talking about. This little brother of mine, he's not the type to cause trouble. But I heard he was called in for a problem, so I came here, leaving all my work behind." Go Chong Boem clenches the paper on the table and says, "Cheon-il School is a top-notch school in Deason. And I hope Yun Sung can attend school without any issues. I was thinking of sponsoring this school in the name of my family company, but it seems I need to think about it again." Young Min Ho's mother glares at Go Chong Boem and asks, "Are you threatening me?" Go Chong Boem looks back at her and says, "I'm just stating the facts, which is what a teacher should do. Shouldn't a teacher stand up for what's right and show students the values of truth? If so, why is Yun Sung, who fought back against bullies to help a friend, being punished? You're ignoring the fact that he's been bullied for years and punishing him for fighting back, even if it was just a little violence for the first time, after being severely beaten." Go Chong Boem slams his fist on the table and says, "How can Cheon-il High School be so blind when he's the victim of bullying? Are we pretending to be blind because he's from a poor family, and we're accepting a little money from the bully's family, so we just let it slide? If that's the reason this school is so blind, I won't let this slide." This school, the pride of Decent, is a joke. I'll destroy this place. The bully is sitting in the victim's seat, and you're all siding with Young Min-ho. Go Chong-bom's words are met with fear and silence from the attendees, who know who Go Chong-bom is. Principal Oh Dae-won is sweating bullets, thinking about how Go Chong-bom, the son of the famous Go Myung-jin, ended up in the meeting room, and how Yun-sung, an orphan, knows him. He also thinks that if he opposes Go Chong-bom, not only will his dreams be crushed, but he won't even be able to live in Decent anymore, due to Go Chong-bom's warning. This is an opportunity to build a relationship with Myung-jin Construction, even if it means being seen as a traitor. In front of Go Chong-bom, who stands gazing at Principal Oh Dae-won can't do anything. Resisting absolute power is futile. Principal Oh Dae-won coughs slightly and says, "I've heard about the bullying case. There were some kids bullying other students at the beginning of the school year." Young Min-ho's mother looks annoyed at the principal's sudden change in demeanor and shouts, "Principal." The principal, with a nonchalant tone, says, "The victim." No, this isn't the time for the defendant's mother to speak. I'll say this to clarify. In this place, we need to listen to everyone before making a decision. Student Yun-sung is one of our best students, so he must have had a reason for doing what he did. Young Min-ho's mother panics and looks around, not believing the principal's sudden change in attitude. Yun-sung mutters with annoyance, "They finally want to hear my side of the story now that I have backing. In my previous life, they wouldn't even listen to me or care about what I had to say. And I wouldn't have had to experience death like that." Yun-sung continues, "I told many teachers about Park Min-chol's gang beating up other students, but every time I told them, they blamed me. Every time I reported it, nothing happened. Are you sure you're not joking? Are you sure Park Min-chol did it? Be a man and solve the problem." The teachers would say they'd look into it, but nothing ever came of it. They just scolded me. Yes, I hit Young Min-ho and sent Park Min-chol and the others to the hospital. But why am I sitting here? Just because I hit him once. Is it because I'm excessive? No, it's because you adults think I'm someone without a background. Please punish the bullies. If not, I'll expose all the wrongdoing and cases in this school, and this school will become the worst in Decent. To shut my mouth, you need to mete out fair punishment. Young Min-ho's mother gets angry and says, "I won't let them treat my son like this. I won't let them." She takes out her phone and calls her husband, saying angrily, "Darling, listen to me. I've told you about Min-ho's case, right? These people are blaming Min-ho again, just because the sponsor is the eldest son of Myung-jin Construction. Where are you now? How many minutes will it take you to get here? You need to come here and show them who you really are." Young Min-ho's father is shocked and asks, "What? The sponsor is Go Chong-bom." Young Min-ho's mother replies, "Do you know him? If so, come here." But after saying that, Young Min-ho's father gets angry and says, "How could you be so rude to the eldest son of Myung-jin Construction? Do you want our family to be destroyed? Hey, woman, come back now. Yes or no, will Min-ho be punished or not? Come back now." Hearing this, Young Min-ho's mother is terrified. It turns out that the husband she admires is nothing compared to Go Chong-bom. The whole room falls silent, and no one dares to say anything. At night, Yun-sung lies in bed, thinking about everything that happened. After the school case, the teachers started sucking up to him and praising him non-stop. Outside, Young Min-ho still can't believe he was expelled. In the midst of his daydreaming, Yun-sung walks up to him and calls out his name. Young Min-ho gets angry and tries to punch Yun-sung, saying, "You bastard." But his punch is stopped by Yun-sung's mother. Yun-sung says coldly, "Kneel down and apologize." Young Min-ho is shocked, and Yun-sung repeats, "Kneel down and apologize." Young Min-ho shouts angrily, "Why should I? I've already been expelled. Why should I kneel down?" Yun-sung says coldly, "You should ask your mother about that. Whether you should kneel down or not." Young Min-ho looks at his mother, and she says, "Min-ho, kneel down and apologize." Young Min-ho asks, "Why are you doing this?" His mother, who is terrified, says, "Just do it, Min-ho." Young Min-ho, who has never seen his mother so scared, immediately kneels down in front of Yun-sung and says, "I won't do it again." Yun-sung looks at Young Min-ho and says, "But what should I do? This isn't satisfying enough, so, you should start praying because from now on, your future will be filled with uncertainty." With that, the teachers' meeting ends, and one step is taken to counter the gang that tried to kill him.